Hey people, my main channel's still down for 4 more days, and this link that I left, this is the reason why they took it down from YouTube, but I found it here on YouTube. You can click on this link and it'll bring you here to YouTube, and it's that same nurse in that 50-minute video that explains about the ADE. So I've been on that job mostly trying to get the brick man moving, but I was reading the other day, the last I was reading was in Judges about Samson and Delilah, or smashing Delilah through the night, and I read on the end to the end of Judges, and everything I was reading it all seemed to be about the moon. The Lila is the word for the moon. They say it's night, but La is the ancient Egyptian word for moon. You see it here, La, is Egyptian, is the moon. And it was talking a lot about Benjamin, and I figured out that Benjamin is this Khonsu. And so everybody that doesn't care about ancient language, to stay with me here, and I'm just trying to show how I come about finding this book, and it's all in English, and this is like one of the best recent books I've found. It must be the best. It's got a lot of good information that's different from what we've been taught. But I'd figured out, in the last books of this, it was all about homosexual orgies, and I knew it was talking about the planets and the stars. And when it says, they were fighting with Benjamin, Benjamin is one of the sons of Israel. And you see how the Benjamins is just spelt with the ba, but the no dot, so it's pronounced as Vin or in, in cycle, VN, in cycle, Amen, IMN. And so Ben, is also what they say is son, Ben, son of men. And so that's where this Khonsu comes from. He is the son of a men. His parents is Ammon and Mut. Mut they say is death. It's actually, Mut, quiet. And Ammon it's got a bad spelling. You see how it's spelled, with the IMN, Amen, Ben. And so the sun would be the Benjamin, the son of a men is the moon. And if you look at this spelling of Khonsu, he's a Mason. You see he's got a story pole here. But they're reading this as, the H or the CH, Ka and Khan. And this is the X. And this the S up here, the Khans. And usually the Romans interpret this as the letter N, but it's X. Where it's Zeus, they'll say it's none. But it's H and X or TS on it, and then U here. The little bird is the U. And so if you read it the other way, it's what, WTS, what's on its two. WTS, what's HN, divide the cycles. Divide the cycles is the moon. The moon is what you use to tell time. It's in a 19-year cycle. And so I read to the end of Judges, and I seen it was talking about the planets and mostly the moon. And so I came to read the beginning of it. I came to Judges 1. And so what I did is I started reading here, and to anchor these words down, I went here to this apostolic Bible polyglot, and I pulled this off, and then I went to the Sweet Septuagint, and I pulled this first line off and put them all side by side. And I just noticed that even this Sweet Septuagint has been edited, the Old Testament in Greek according to the Septuagint, edited by Henry Barclay. But it has it reads different, has different words, and has different punctuation in it, and reads different. So I put them all side by side to get a look. And so this is it here. This is the Hebrew here, and this is the Sweet Septuagint here with the extra punctuation. You see I got marked in yellow. And then underneath it, this is that polyglot that's really been edited. And here it doesn't have the punctuation, and then some of the words are spelled different, and sometimes it takes words out and adds different words in the day to the diet to, and they just put in, this replaces the B in. And you see how there's several words, that they'll change them in order to make it fit. In the Hebrew, this reads the wage gyro. This is where your word hiero comes from, as in hieroglyphics. And they say it means sacred in hieroglyphics, sacred writings. But it's gyro, it's the turn. That's why they say it's after. The wage gyro, the wage turn from what you sow. Wish all to bing, to mark the time is rule. By evil Amar, Homer's command, B-Y-E-V-E-L, by the evil word. And so this AMR, it always has to do with word or command, but it means the knowledge from first, and it means the words that you get from the heaven. And that's what this book is talking about, of Judges, how to judge the moon to get the word. The word comes from the moon. Wherever the moon sits in the sky and what kind of sun shines on it, it tells the day. And that's the word. By evil word, my jolly when bind new. My happy when bind new. Laying on check. This K with a dot is a CH. They say it's a sharp K, but they're backwards. It's the check, C-H-E-C-H, the checking. Laying on checking on make. Intel, B-T-H-L. And they say this is first, or the first time, because it's real close to the word virgin, B-U, or B-T-U-L-E is the virgin, Batul. But this is Batel. Intel, La, L-H, the moon, lesson 2, L-H-S, B is in, the lesson 2, the moon lesson 2. It's talking about the hiero, the sacred words from what you sow, from learning from the moon. But when I looked over here, this says, and the wage to turn from what the Jews see, from what Jews see. And over here, this key, this was a Greek, ancient Greek, Scottish. Key is also considered to have the Welsh, Scandinavian, and Greek roots. Its meaning is keeper of the keys. And so the key takes the place of Vav. It means it could be a V, a U, or a W. The keeper of the keys is the secret. And that comes from here. This is a Vav pin, to connect your wheel on. And nowadays we use a cotter pin or a keeper key, we might call it. But that's what it is, the keeper of the keys, the keeper key. And it looks just like this letter Vav, this Hebrew letter Vav, and that's what that is. It means connected. And so you see it comes up opposite everywhere there's a Vav, they say it's and this should say and here. Sometimes they say it means but. So this is two different writings, and they created this second one to hide the secrets in the first one. But this later writing, it just reads straight through. It's the wage in it too, Metaton, tell within each is of. We fear it on how to joy his rule. In carry, see how they changed it here, to carry allegiance. And this is where your word religion come from. Re means to do it again. And everything with L and a G in it, allegiance, alleged, all has to do with word, and so when it's talking about the change of the language in Genesis 6, that's where your word religion come from, to the word, to do it again, to change the word, religions. But this is, in carry allegiance, who your allegiance is to. Tis. To carry allegiance it is. Honor, like honor. Honor vests it to. VHS, the vest, to invest in. Honor vests it to. And so this ETAI and similar, they'll always say it means shall, it means in the future. Honor vests it to make coming, coming. Vests it to coming. Force, PRO is for, and then STO, forced on, canon, AJON, AJON. Canon, is to put to writings, the canon, a rolled up scroll, a canon. The canon of AJON, of time. The forced on canon age on. Effige, whom in as. Effigem whom as. Effige is to a sculpture or model of a person. And they say it comes from the Latin ex and figere and finger, to shape out, but it's just more to fashion, to fashion it to the canon, to make a story out of it, The canon age on a fedge whom men as, to appall me say, force what to us. The carry allegiance it is, on a vest it to, to invest allegiance to who, come in forced on, the canon age on, a fedge whom in as, to appall me say, force what to us. So this other one reads different. Every time you see this mark here, it's in the yellow, it's going to add a word. And so when this mark looks like this word reads backwards and forwards. The same here. And the only reason it's beside is because it's a capital letter. There's no room on top. The same here. When it comes at the end of a word, usually this is after, and I see it in the New Testament that they mistake this, but this belongs after. And what it does is you read to this mark again, and then read it again, and then when it's on the beginning of a word but it's backwards, instead of reading the word backwards and forwards, you read the word forwards and backwards. And then when you see it in the middle of a word, depending on which way it's turned, it'll read the A, and then from here back to the mark. And so it adds another word every time you see this, and sometimes more words, depending how many words are in these longer words. And so now it's, the key is just the vav, and so it's the W, W-O-T, the what in edge, E-G-E, the what in edge, gen it to. In the edge of the gin it too. The gin is a machine that turns. And so what in the edge of gin it to? It's on the edge of the turn, the gyro. Metaton. And so the metaton has to do with the metatonic cycle. And I'll get more into that. The tell within. What in edge, gen it to? Metaton tell within. And this is backwards and forwards, and so it's the wash, W-O-S-H, the wash itches of. And so wash itches of, means needing a bath, and the wash is also what comes after, as a boat goes through the water. The wash is what's washing up in the prop. What comes after. And so the wash itches of is something you're needing or something you're wanting. The wash itches of, something coming on. And then the key is the W, the when, W-N, connected cycle is when. When notary, P-E-P-H-R, paper wrote, O-T-O-N. When notary paper wrote on, how we, and then back again, via, how we go, illarses his role. And so Israel, is larceny, larses is thieves. You can see the A-R-S in there, arson, somebody who burns something down. Lars, and one who fought and won the crown. How we go make larses his rule. The day to who carry you. Allegiance it is. Yet the sieve on. The sieve is to receive something you're getting. Yet the sieve on a vesset too. The honor to put in, to vest, to put in it too. Come in him, H-M-I-N, come in him. Force to us canon age whose sonum vogue of fedgum and as, son of vogue is, the one prevailing, the prevalent fashion at a particular time. To carry you allegiance it is yet, not yet, but will be. It is yet the sieve, has yet, not yet received, is yet the sieve on a vesset too, to vest the honor in, come in him, force to us canon ages, to put it in the canon, to write it down, the sun, them vogue, the prevailing one, the one that's, the house of the sun that's in charge. We're in the age of Pisces now. The sonum vogue, the vogue half of fedges whom men as. A fedge is to put it, to write the story of fedgum, men as. To who poll much say, force, as what to use. The force as what to use. Instead of force what to us, it's now force as what to us. But this word Metaton, I've looked at it before, and this is what caused me to find this book. When I went searching for it this time, it was trying to force me to look for metonic cycle, which is the same thing. And so they changed this name because they're trying to say that Meton invented the cycle. 600 BC was a Greek, but no, it's the metatonic cycle is the correct word for it. And so, when I was searching, they were steadily trying to force me to this metonic cycle, and I knew before when I looked at it, it was called the metatonic cycle. And so I had forced it, I checked images, and I went over here to more, and I went to books. So it'll find the exact word that I put in there in a book. And so I find this book, Rerum Fontis, from the fountain, in Latin, something like that, from the fountain. And this is a real good book. And there's a bunch of it in here. It doesn't give the whole book, and I can't get an online book. It only comes in print. It's like a $60 book. But it's talking about, the lunar movements. And it has a 19-year cycle. In 19 years, the moon comes back to the exact same place. And you can see here, it's called as the Metatonic cycle. It's a 19-year lunar cycle where, on the same day at the same time, the moon's almost in the same place. Your lunar calendar comes around every 19 years. Your plant and your farmer's almanac will read just about the same every 19 years. But it's not the whole book, it's just part of it, but it's got a lot of good information in here. Lectures on esoteric symbology, rerum fontis of the fountain, from the fountain, something like that. And I'll leave this link where you can get a look at this piece of it. But yeah, the only place you can get it is in print, and it's around a $60 book. So if this link brings you here and doesn't let you sample the book, just try Googling the Metatonic and go to books, and you'll be able to find it here to come up at the fifth book down. And so what's going on is you have a different name for every day for 19 years. And the name comes from, how much of the moon and which stars it's sitting in. When you have a full moon, you know that the sun is on the opposite side of the sky. And as this moon moves on, it moves through the sky the next night, it's going to be cut off. You're going to see a little less of the moon here, until it looks like this. And so you have a different name. By the time you add all these things together, what stars it's in and what shape it is, it gives you a different name for every day for 19 years. And that's what this metatonic cycle is all about. And that's what it means, the wage turn to gyro. The wage turn from what Jews see. The wish all to bing to mark the time is rule. You can see it here in Judges 19, that to spend the night of Lun, L-U-N, La Lune. And here, to spend the night is to lie into, where it lies into. And you can see it here at this midnight. Usually they just say this means night, but it's hex make. Hex make is a cross make. The lie of La, of the moon. In hex make, the lie of La. So when it's in the opposite side, it means a full moon. In lie, the moon. And you see it in this word for Delilah, in Ben Al Surf, to same through lie, la, through lie moon. And it's a real tedious study, and you can see it in this word, the lunatic, because if you try to study a different name for every day for 19 years, it will afflict you to be a lunatic. Here, I need to go get that brick man going, and I'll get back on some more of this Judges. I believe I'm going to read Judges all the way up to the story of Solomon. So I get the whole book of Judges, because I know, in the end of it, that's what it was talking about.
Don't forget. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.